Welcome everybody to our next episode. This is Ifayemisi,
and I am Ifayemisi,
and you are tuned in to the best podcast
on the planet.
Let's Talk IFA. Alafia, everybody at Cabo. Welcome. I'll let you introduce our special guest today, my brother.
How do you want to be introduced?
Alafia, everyone. I am Ifayemisi, Elebuibon.
Welcome, EI Cabo. Thank you for coming on and being here with us today. We really appreciate it.
Yes.
EI, can you tell our watchers and our listeners just a little bit about who you are, who your parents are, and maybe just a little bit about your upbringing?
Okay, thank you. So, I was born and raised in the city of Osogbo, Osun State in Nigeria, West Africa. My parents both are pioneer when it comes to Yoruba culture, spiritual practice, art, and performing. So my dad is currently hold the title as the Araba. That's the chief and the head of all Babalawo in Osogbo. And my mom, she's also an Iyalorisa. She has her own chamber in the palace where she mentor young women in the Sheshe community, where she minister and help, to bring healing and balance into, the community through work as Iyalorisa. So, born and raised traditionalist in traditional Yoruba household, it's a privilege that I grew up to appreciate. Mm-hmm. And it is a privilege because now I look around the world and I see a lot of people, running from A to B, trying to find their place. Mm-hmm. And we never had that problem because from the onset, we already know who we are.
You were at that place.
And where we belong. So that's the blessing part of it, that we didn't grow into an adult, that we have to begin a journey. Most of that has already been covered up by our parents. They already set the foundation and laid that brick for us to continue to build on. So that's in itself is a motivation for us, especially me, to continue to bring awareness, to bring enlightenment, to bring the light into our culture, because we need to bring light in it, because a lot of misrepresentation, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and there's a lot of misconception about who we are. So we need to bring that light in to showcase ourselves in the positiveness as, as Olorisha, as Onisheshe, as a representation of our ancestor.
I say. Very well spoken.
So, Iyemisi, you have written how many books?
6.
You have written 6 books. What is your recent book that you have written?
My most recent book is Egungun, The Dwellers of Heaven.
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, I gotta give it a
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I need to get that one.
Because, like I mentioned a little bit, our ancestors, they give us so much. And I believe we're having a little bit of that conversation, because we were able to gain so much from the work that they have done, be it in the spiritual practice of Isheshe and also in the community, the Black community as itself. Because, our ancestors, they built this land. Right. They fought for us. And you look back, and then we have to ask ourselves, this present generation, like, what are we contributing? What are we doing that has not already been done? And what are we going to leave our children with? So when I get into the mood to, intuitively to what is the next thing for me to do? What is the message that I want to bring out there? So I want to write about Egungun, So because of that, I even have my own egungun made. It's called Ajé
it.
Nire. So every year now, I bring my own egungun out, and it's so surprising. Like I'm the first woman actually, especially in my household to hold an egungun and have an egungun festival. Besides the the Dorobo that my dad holds. So it's a beautiful thing. And then the moment I decided I had the intuitive message to do that, it came out in a reading for me. To receive an egungun, so have an egungun, showcase an egungun, and I was just like, how did I know? So the spirits just they talk to us, they guide us.
They do.
So in essence, to talk about and write about the ancestor is part of what we were talking about earlier. The conservation, because all of this information that we have, the knowledge that we procure, the medicinal knowledge that we have, the divination knowledge that we have was passed down to us by our ancestors.
Right.
So they deserve the praise, they deserve the recognition, and a lot of healing that people are looking for. If they look back into their roots, they could find the healing that they are looking for. They could find the reason, the source of the problem that they are facing. They could find the recognition, their place in the world. Like, going back into our ancestral roots, he lets you know the occupation that they have in your family. Maybe you have, taking a different path, and that's the destiny path for you. But if you don't know anything about your history, you don't know anything about your ancestral lineage, there's no way for you to be able to fulfill that destiny, because that link is going to be forever, it's disconnected.
History is very important.
So it is very important to, and I'd like to tell people, especially new people that are coming in, you cannot say, okay, now because we have iPhone, and don't want to know the history of how this telecommunication come into, because when you take a class, they teach you computer class from the whole big computer. They show you the picture of how computer used to be. It's as big as a house. And now it become a thing that we can carry around. They did not discard that knowledge just because they have a new way of saying things now, and that's the same thing that we need to bring in. Just because we have science, just because we have different views now, that doesn't mean that our way of our ancestor is no longer valid. That doesn't mean the ways of our ancestor, has no relevance, in our life now. And I think that is the problem. That's the disconnect now.
That's what gives us our strength.
Yeah, because we are so far gone from our foundation that we are just floating.
Right.
We're not touching base. We're not grounded, and that is what we need. That's what we need. Our people. We say, children, come back home.
Come back home.
Wale.
Wale.
Children, come back home. We need our people to come back to their ancestral roots, to elevate the practice. To promote, to take this to the point whereby people are no longer ashamed. And a lot of times we don't have that problem here in the United States, because we have laws that protect people from, being prejudiced against, because of religious faith. But for those of us, and a lot of people back home in Africa, they are not protected from such, from some prejudice. So a lot of people, are still, cowardly about, their spiritual practice. They cannot go out in the world and, beat their chest to it and say, this is the way of my ancestor, this is what I'm doing. So, that, leads to people, going behind the door, the back door practice of, visiting the Babalawo. So,
we have that here too,
Yeah.
Like, we would have people from the church that will come and see us, and they'll do it on the low.
Yes,
they'll come at night. Or they won't tell sister such and such that I'm going to see the IFA priest over here.
Yes,
maybe he can help you too. It's like they keep it to themselves.
And it's so heartbroken because we don't have testimony. Because of that, we don't have testimony. And that's why I like to insert myself in my writing. Not because this narcissistic way of doing things, but because I want people to see that this work, So, a lot of people, there's no feedback.
Yes.
because they cannot, come into out in the open and talk about, how blessed they
How it's
are,
working for them.
how
Yeah.
this thing has worked for them, or how they are using it to improve the quality of their life. So
Right.
that's not encouraging other people to want to come in.
Yeah.
But when it comes to throwing stone
Mm-hmm.
and painting the negative picture, that's a lot of people are loud about it.
People are loud about it.
They are loud about it, but they don't come out and talk
They're
about
not loud about
the
the positive, the things
there's
that,
a lot
right.
of people that have been healed. There's a lot of life that has changed, from bad to good. There's a lot of beautiful things that has happened to people when they have come to Isheshe or when they adopt the practice into their life. But instead for them to come forward and be truthful about their journey,
Sure.
a lot of
Yeah.
people want to go to church.
Mhm.
They want to say, somebody Messiah did this, or Messiah did that. And, in hindsight, they know what they are
Right.
doing behind
They don't want to
closed
say it out though.
doors. So, honoring our ancestor, and for me, writing about Egungun is actually deeper than, the practice of the ritual aspect of Egungun in itself. I just want to bring awareness into, like, just yesterday, and I was thinking about it. I didn't even realize I was going to talk about this today. Like, I was going to post it on Facebook actually, because I was just like, how is it that you lived your life as a Olorisha, and then when you die, you are buried as a Christian? That is unfortunate.
Ooh. Woo. That's
So,
a thing, huh?
That is a thing.
Ooh.
Mm.
How you live your life as a priest, and then you get buried as a novice? That's a sad ending.
What do you think? Why do you think
I mean,
people do that?
to be honest, it's just really about environmental problem, the society problem that we still have, just like we were talking about, the society not wanting to accept the African way of life, the African way of spiritual practice, as as something that is valid, because it's been invalidated due to slavery, due to colonization, and it has been relegated and demeaned into something that an uneducated people practice.
It's associated.
It's
with,
associated with,
especially in Africa.
In Africa, it's associated with poverty.
With poverty.
With
illiteracy,
and
ignorance. And, right.
And if you are sophisticated, if you are well learned and educated, that's not something
That's not
that
what
you
you
do.
do.
Right.
So I've seen a lot of people, a lot of my friends on Facebook, like, oh, but you're well educated and you're well traveled. Why are you still doing
Why are you
this?
still doing this?
So it's just like
that's weird.
the colonized mindset, give people the liberty to live their life the way they wanted to live it, because they have to succumb to the societal pressure of what is acceptable in the society that they live in.
And until they get in trouble where their child is sick or they're sick and the doctors can't fix it, or now they having nightmares and spiritual attacks or whatever, right? Then they come.
Yep. that is true. That is true. I mean, we even have a song like that, like, when all else failed. That's when they remember, the Isheshe.
Well, I tried everything else. Let me go over here to these people and see.
Yeah, you never the first option, the second option. You are the, when everything else failed option.
But
that's colonization and slavery. That's what it does.
Classic form, right?
That's
and
classic
even when
form
they
of
finally do come, they do it almost with a disgust, like with a disdain, like, okay, just hurry up and fix me so I can get out of here and get away from y'all.
Yeah, it's like they're in a rush.
Yeah.
It's like no faith. It's like you said earlier, they think they're getting magic.
Yeah.
And it's like, just give me what I want so I can go.
That is
it's
the
like
thing,
a package.
That's the thing.
Give me my package so I can go.
Give me my medicine.
Give me
my
medicine,
medication.
My medication so I can go.
The quick fix.
The quick fix.
And if
That's
you know what
quite unfortunate though.
Yeah, when you see what medication does to you, then you know you don't want nothing so quick.
So with the Iyalorisa, right? How do they see it good enough to live by, but not to die when you die? How was that like?
I mean,
that's interesting.
It's interesting because we don't have funeral plan, we don't have packages, we don't own land, we don't own cemetery, and we don't have no community. You know, that's the word that needs to ring a bell. We don't have no community. We don't have no institution that sees to the welfare of Isheshe practitioners. Let's just put it out there. We don't. Because if we have institutions that seek to our welfare, it needs to be from the beginning of our life to the end of our life.
Right.
Okay, so now we have maybe parents, you know, you decide it's a choice, it's an option for you when you have your baby. If you want to do the 3-day reading, if you want to have the naming ceremony done in the Yoruba or African way, that's an option. Until that is no longer an option, that is a mandatory, you know, practices, you know, because that's the culture.
That's the culture.
But now because of, you know, a lot of reason, people have separated that tradition.
Right.
You know, they put it in the pocket of religion. And this is just tradition.
It's tradition.
Asha.
It's culture.
You know, it's culture. It's the way that we do things. You know, that's our way. But they put it in the pocket of religion. And since they don't want to associate with the
So
African
then they want to
religion,
do that, so
they
they
don't
go
want to do
to,
that.
right.
So
Religion
they
is, would you agree that religion is something that separates the people?
It does. It does. It's a big factor. It has destroyed homes, destroyed friendships,
Family
family
marriages.
relationships. You know, you name it. You know, is the reason why a lot of people could not even get a job.
Yeah,
Because you know, especially in Africa,
If you
that
don't
is
identify
big.
as
You don't
Christian,
identify
yeah,
as
Muslim.
You know, I read that in one day of Bimbola's books. I think he was saying, if I can remember, he was saying that his parents, like they practiced the old ways, but then when Christianity came in, and because of the luxury that they offered, that they went that way.
Right.
And he had to make a choice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I'm gonna, you know, it's like
it's a huge part of the division that we have in Africa now, because you know, like we discussed, like people want to identify with the good people, you know, the people who are driving cars, who are beautiful homes, you know, who are the status, who are you know well dressed and considered, you know, the learned, the intelligent people in the society, and the moment they put the Isheshe practice, you know, into that box that people no longer want to identify. Nobody want to deal with poverty. Even if I said poverty is not something that you go out to the public and shout to the world that, oh, I'm poor. You know, it's not
like
something to be proud to take pride in. You know, so people don't want that.
Right.
So you have an option, and we really just have to be thankful, like, you know, like ancestor, because for someone like my dad, his parents had to make that deliberate choice that you are not going to church. You're not going to school. Because school, you go to church. A lot of churches that were, a lot of schools that were available
and the
then.
church are together.
Yeah, you have to be a Christian.
Right.
Because they're owned by the missionary.
Right.
So if you want an education for yourself or for your child, you have to
You're
proclaim.
going to be indoctrinated also. It's
have to
just
change
like
your
over here
name.
when they did. You had to change your name.
You have to denounce.
You got to denounce
your spiritual practice.
Right.
And embrace their own way.
Right.
And that's how they will get
So we'll educate you, but
at this cost.
Right. At this cost.
So a lot
Always
of
a
people
cost.
who want that life, they chose
They
it.
do that, right.
They're not benefiting anything from being who they are anyway. They're poor and stuff. So that's their home. That's the mindset
That's the way
there.
out, yeah.
But some parents who, thank God my grandfather did that. Because if my dad had gone through that system, there's no Araba.
He wouldn't be there.
There is no pioneer for the Yoruba culture.
That was the sacrifice.
You know, that was the sacrifice.
But look how it turned out. I was just at y'all's compound in August, and they are doing very, very well.
That's how you know it's the calling, because it's not a lot of big people that can take that risk and be successful in that.
Right.
And they are very successful. I mean, look at there's no other path, I don't think, that would have done that for your father, for your Baba and your Iya, other than this path that they're on.
No. I mean, it's a forever thing. That's a big sacrifice. You know, it's a generational thing that is a lineage thing that also need to continue. And then another motivation for writing about the Egungun book is just to also let us know that we exist in this world as well. So we cannot be all about spiritual practices alone. We have to make sure that you know we are responsible in the community. We be part of the community in the sense that make a will. a lot of people don't want to talk about that, but every living thing will
So
eventually die.
you in my territory. I deal with life insurance,
Yes.
estate planning, wills and trust and all those things. And we have to, like you said, we have to understand the value of it, of those things. We don't make those type of preparations. A lot of us don't.
Yeah.
Because no matter the amount of spiritual work that you do, the sacrifices that you do, what you're gonna die well. That's the that's the thing, but you're still gonna die.
You want a good
Right.
So, but you want to be
comfortable.
comfortable. You want to make sure that, like I said earlier, you're not buried as a novice. Because if you have a written will that is stated, that's
Right.
your wish.
Right.
If you passed away,
Right.
you belong to this spiritual practice.
Exactly.
And when someone in your
And
culture,
this is how I want to
or
be
your religion,
buried.
this is how I want to be buried.
Because if you don't do that,
If you don't,
it's
They're
a
gonna do
mess.
it.
they're gonna do whatever
Like,
whatever
they
they
wanna
want.
do.
People gonna
whatever
do
is
whatever they want.
comfortable
Yeah.
for them.
Whatever they know.
Whatever they know.
That's what they're gonna do.
Oh,
so it needs to be for thought. It needs to be for written down and let your family know this is who to call. Because I have a lot of my dad clients. They have done that. They have done that. Like something happened to them. Call Araba.
this.
Yeah.
Call this person from this family. They will do whatever the needful
Right.
to bury me, to give me the proper burial.
Right.
And another reason is just for us to understand that so many focus has been on the ritual element of our practices alone.
Yes.
That our well-being, like I said, all the other aspect of our life are not being brought in.
Yeah.
Which is talk
It's
about
being
the
neglected.
it's been neglected. Talk about the funeral thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason why we cannot have our own bylands and have our own cemetery. There's no reason why we don't have our own, funeral home, whereby you service every other community as well, but it makes it more easier and convenient, and not to be on the microscopic eyes of the other laws and regulations where you own your own thing. You'll be able to perform the necessary
Rituals.
that
The
you
way you
need
want
to
them
prepare
to.
the body the way you
The way
want,
you
to
need.
prepare
That's
the
true.
land the way you want, and so on, so that your people get the the respect in the hand, the
That's
rights send off that they deserve as according to the life that they have lived, not just being buried by a group of people that doesn't know anything about their life. They are ritual. Once you get your initiation, once you have that ashe on your head, there are ritual that needs to be done. It is
Yes, it
when
is.
you pass away.
right.
A priest of Ifa, they have their own funeral rites. A priest of Egungun, they have their own funeral rites. That you belong to this group. They need to come in and do the ceremony, almost like you getting reinitiated. To be sent out there
sent
into
out.
the spirit world, in the proper way. So that's just to let us have the awareness that this is the things that people need to put into account. We
Yeah.
want to talk about we want to talk about Ancestral, we want to talk about IFA and the Iyalorisa. All of these classes, like it's getting redundant.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's getting redundant because we're not talking about conservation.
The other part of it.
We're not talking
Yeah.
about the
Land,
future.
business, land.
Everything is not really about divination all the time.
Property.
It's not all the time that we have problem divination wise. There's a whole bunch of things that our financial life, our romantic life. Nothing about come here, come do divination. Where are the counselor?
Shoot,
that
how to reach our elders.
that where's the culture? Where's the respect?
That's
Yeah.
where's the respect?
Yes.
The codes and the ethics
Codes
and
of conduct.
different, the way that we conduct ourselves.
That needs to be taught,
Right.
as well.
Right.
Because a lot of time when people
Go
want to
ballet.
do classes, it's just sort of like, well, let's talk about Oshun.
Oshun.
And then for me, I'm happy to do it, but
Right.
in the back of my mind, I'm just like, how is that benefiting, improving the quality of your life?
Of your life.
And we should be more about something that improves the quality of our
your
life.
life.
And the reason why there's a whole bunch of hands in this pot is because there's no separation of power. There's no separation of responsibility. And someone is a priest, but they are also the teacher, and they are also the counselor. They are also, but so it's a whole
got a
bunch
lot of
of
hats.
you wear a lot of hats. But if you let the priest do the priest thing,
Right.
they go to school,
Right.
they enroll in a training.
Yeah.
They learn, they specialize
Right.
to be
To be a priest.
and those who
Yeah.
want to do the research, scholastic,
Right.
Yeah.
you do your research, those who want to do counseling, they
Do what you do.
counseling,
And
then
we
they
all
become
work together.
good at it.
Yes.
Yeah, we
I'm
all
like,
need each other.
Half knowledge is what is killing this community, because a lot of people have a little bit of
I
this,
agree,
a little bit of
just
that,
enough
a little
to be
bit, just
dangerous.
enough to to
Yeah.
get by.
And then they want to
Yeah.
teach.
So it was just like, as much as I like to share, but I know English is a challenge for me. Like, I think in Yoruba, before I even say anything, I think it's in Yoruba. So a lot of people are just like, oh, they want me to do these classes, they want me to do
Right.
that. I'm just like, you know what, you have no idea how hard it is for someone that was born and raised,
Yeah.
and I've only speak Yoruba all I had out here.
Yeah.
For me to now sit down, I want to talk about IFA. I want to bring out the Odu. Now I have to look at what is the meaning in English, and I have to
Yeah.
translate it into English. And now you can't find the right word in English, so you have to find something that's close
That's
enough,
close to
or
it,
you just
yeah.
in summary. So there's a lot of things that
It's a
are
lot.
missing in there. But then when you
It is.
have people that is their job
Yes.
to research and learn about this IFA,
Right.
to interpret it correctly, and they do it well. It's going to benefit the community. And then when you have people that they ask to do divination and ritual, every aspect of it, and they focus on that, and they
Right.
know it. And then I just like talk about my dad a lot, because I draw a lot of inspiration from his life. Because you told me from the get-go, he said, I advise people, you either want to do business or you want to be an howl. Because I was always just like, why can't you be both? You just like, so okay, there's a lot of ways that you conduct yourself in a business that is appropriate. It's just business, no hard
Yeah.
feeling.
Yeah.
But when it comes to this spiritual work, you cannot bring the cut and dry,
It's a little different.
It's a little
We're talking about
different,
people's lives.
This is people's
Straight.
life, that we're talking about. So you just like, you cannot be brutal. You can be brutal in business. You need to be
Yeah.
aggressive. You need to be brutal.
Right.
Unless people cut you
That's
and
true.
leave you out to dry. But when it comes to being an
That's true.
hour, you cannot operate in that way. So those are when we talk about etiquette, the rules, the rule of conduct. These are
Right.
things that are missing, because a lot of people are not sitting down with the elders anymore. So really, I sit down with my dad. I can sit down with my dad all day, and we're not even talking about no
ritual, no Ifa, no.
I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
absorbing knowledge, life knowledge from him.
Then-
I'm not, so it was just like, and they will be more willing to share once they see the younger generation that are more interested in learning the way of life. It makes them happy. Unlike people that just want
That's the
to,
key.
how do I add 1 or 2 together so I can get 4?
Yeah.
It lets them know you want microwave, you are in a rush.
You in the microwave.
Yep.
Yeah.
You just said the key though, how to live. What'd you say? It teach you how to live your life. And that's the part that's people missing. That people are missing, and that's what we always talk about. For the people who kind of get it and that have it, it's so beautiful. Like me personally, my children, my wife, people around me, I've seen it, right? And I live it, and I live in that. But for other people, I can see that they don't have it. I can see their frustration, and I can see them they're struggling, and it's because of what you said, because they're not learning the other stuff. You just focus on one little 10% of it.
Yep.
It's a whole 90% that
Uh-huh.
you don't even you're not even dealing with.
Yeah, people are not. They're not like it. It just make me really sad sometimes that a lot of times it's just about the ritual. It is just about what you can give them, not what they can bring into. And that's why I like to talk about conservation, because when it comes to conservation, it demands something from you.
I say.
But when this practice get to that point where it demand a return from people, that is how you really know who are them. That is how you know the people that are just fair weather. That's how
Right.
people that they only come here for the advantage.
Right. Not to,
And
they want to
if
take,
if
not
they,
to give.
No, not to give.
Just take.
And if it doesn't, you don't have no more. They will go to
they're
somewhere.
gone.
They're gone.
Yeah.
They want to find somewhere else that they
Right.
can also mine.
Right.
Their gold from. They don't worried about whatever damages that has done. And in the light of that, this culture, this way of life, the spiritual practice, it demands something from us. And that's why a lot of people cannot, do this successfully because they are not willing to give up.
To do the work.
To make the sacrifice.
They're not willing to make the sacrifice. And, it's just like, it is not just, going to the corner and pray and everything is done. No,
Everything is good.
It requires
You gotta put your efforts behind it.
You work on yourself.
Yeah.
And in order to work on yourself,
from inside out.
from inside out. But in order to do that, you have to have some type of accountability, because if you're always blaming everybody else and everything else, then you won't do the work, because you don't think you got work to do.
I mean, change is hard. Because it requires a change of mindset. A change sometimes in our physical. A change in character. I mean, that's you're asking too much.
So I think people are immune to what goes on in their society, and so when, say for instance, they come from divination and you say wake up at a certain time, they're not immune to waking up at that certain time. However, if you put it into practice, you're gonna get used to it. You're gonna get used to it. And so I think it's just patience and just like we were talking about, knowing your environment and what needs to be changed in your environment.
Yeah.
And just kind of taking your time, because people need, like, they don't understand the culture, and we know that it's going to take time.
Yeah.
And we as the custodians and the teachers have to realize that when these people come to us, we have to take our time with them, because they were raised in a certain way.
Yeah.
And so it's patience, but they have to realize they have to be patient with us as well,
and with themselves. And we have to reestablish systems and institutions that teach the people the culture, because they're not going to learn it.
Yeah, you have to have proper
any other way.
information.
Yeah, they have to learn it,
Yeah.
and then it's up to them whether or not they're going to follow it or not, or whatever the case may be. But people are at different points in their lives and different as far as their growth and evolution. So, but it's like, I can't want it more than you. Like, you got to put in the work, and when you're ready to put in the work, I'm here to help you. But if I see you're not ready, I'm not going to I'm going to devote my time to people that I see that are ready. I'm not going to waste time if you're not ready, right?
Because you sacrificing all your time.
You messing up other people.
I mean, that's a precious time that you could give to somebody else who is more willing and more,
Right.
and available.
It's more serious.
And that's the thing about the conservation thing as well, because we need to have all of these documented. I've been through various spiritual journey in my spiritual life, just to see what else is out there. How do the people, the community who have been able to build a sustainable practice for themselves.
Right.
It's just really about the repetition. And then we know a lot of this thing begins from the household, and then it just really takes us back to our ancestors. It's because now we chose to live a different life, totally opposite of of the way our grandma or great grandmother was raised. And then the reason why that is so important factor now is when you look back and you talk to people from other culture. Let's say you bring an Hispanic, or you bring someone, someone who is raised in South America, in Brazil and somewhere like that. Somewhere along the line, when you start talking about your ancestor, you see that the same cultural similarity, especially when it comes to the respect.
The respect.
The culture, the tradition in the household. Like, oh, we don't wear shoes, outside shoe in the house.
Right.
Or my grandma does this for me when I'm sick, and then you remember, oh, your grandma used to do the same thing. So it just lets you know that if we bring back culture into our household, it makes the work of the priest easier. Because the people that you're dealing with are seasoned, their culture, so so you don't have to go through the headache of that phone call. And I noticed that just like you said, the moment I tell people the taboo and the one is from that herbal, they're not accepting of it. So instead, after all is said and done, they're calling me and asking me the alternative, But
Yeah,
okay,
right.
but it's just like
Is there an alternative
is there
for
an
that?
alternative? Like just like okay, you need to take this medicine
Yeah.
with me. But can I use almond milk? It's still milk, right?
Or
But can
mix
I
it with
use
oatmeal?
it with oatmeal? So it's just like the lifestyle is different now, and then you see people always like, okay, you don't wear black for a number of time. Okay, but can I wear white under and then put black on?
Oh,
Because
yeah, that's a
so it
common
was just
thing.
like
That's
Right.
a common thing.
it's just like people are
You know.
never accepting. They're looking
If
for
you
a
say-
Looking
loophole.
for a
Yeah.
loophole.
Looking
You gotta-
for a loophole. I mean,
Right.
you cannot
gotta
pick a
wear all white.
loophole.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Other than your job, if it's other than your job
Yes.
uniform,
Yeah.
you need to listen. You need to.
Mhm.
That's why you came for the reading.
Mhm.
Yes.
You know.
They don't know
So-
really why they came for the reading sometimes. They
And
just
a
kind
lot
of
of people
exploring.
are
They kinda
experimenting.
researching and
That's
experimenting.
another thing.
Something
though.
is
Like
telling them they need
wanderers.
this, so it's just I don't know
Yeah.
why I'm here, but I'm here.
Or even a reading from the book. And
Mhm.
it's just what is so funny because I have to experience both the people that are practitioner. If I work as an Iyanifa, Iyalorisa, and then I have to experience with the people who are just coming
Yeah.
to check out.
Yeah.
And I have someone bring back at my door. Oh, do you have these items? And I say, okay, yeah. And then after the transaction is completed, and then, how do I use it?
Oh, wow.
And then I was just like,
Wow.
excuse me. I mean, I don't
Now they
question
give you a
people
whole
when they want
class.
to buy stuff. I just want to do
Yeah.
my business and go.
Yeah.
But then in my mind, I was just like, so you don't know
Anything
anything
about
about
this.
this?
They saw a
And you
video.
so I asked him, like, so how did you know to come
buy
buy
it.
this? I read it in a book.
Right.
Yeah.
So you need a teacher, sir.
So it's not just
you
something.
can't just buy some stuff and then ask me how to use. Like,
But again, we got to realize those people are coming from out of Christianity.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're coming in.
Or they're coming from
They
nothing.
still
Yeah.
using
Some of them,
or
man,
they
they
coming
never
from
didn't
nothing.
say. They
But-
just coming from nowhere.
But they're using the same concept of the system to, like you said,
Yeah.
I want to go get this magic soap, but you don't know
Yeah.
nothing, but all you know is magic. It's gonna I'm gonna
Yes.
wash with it, and it's gonna get rid of all the negative stuff.
And that's
So that's
the
what they want.
education, though.
Yeah.
That's the education that
education.
we
Yeah.
need to be loud about. You
Right.
know.
Yeah.
So I'm not about being quiet anymore because I
Shame.
see the people
Shame.
who don't want to see this
Yeah.
tradition continue.
Right.
They are loud.
Yeah.
They're very
about
loud.
their
Yeah.
disdain,
They're very
about
loud.
that,
You're right.
Oh my God.
their opposition of this. So
Right.
we need to be loud.
And this is
you
part
know?
of why we created this
This is
platform.
why we created
right?
It
To
is
have these
beautiful.
conversations. I
It's
say.
beautiful. We need
You
more
need
of
an
this.
outlet.
Yes.
We need an outlet. Nobody's gonna create this platform. So
Nobody's
we
gonna
need
do
to,
that.
we need to embrace it. We need to do more, twice as more.
Right.
Shay.
Yep.
Than people from other culture. And then
Yeah.
another thing about why conservation is something that is so big that we need to take action now. And we need to charge ourselves. It's just like like I've said, what are we leaving behind?
We want to leave behind.
We are getting by now. Sometimes barely getting by. Right now
Exactly.
the price for cola nuts has gone through the
I
roof.
saw your post the other day. I'm seeing that. It's crazy.
It's heartbroken. Like
Is it the
from home, from
home?
Nigeria.
So
you
why
gotta
is it
go through
going up?
customs?
That's what I don't understand because I don't want to be paranoid. But at the same time, I cannot help but think that there's a bigger hand at first that is trying to
yeah.
make the practice of Isheshe
Because they
as
see.
difficult
Yeah,
as
it's
possible.
possible.
Because
They
let me
want
tell you
money,
this:
money.
the price for
Greed.
100 pieces of cola nuts is more than what an average Nigerian make in a month.
Yeah, so how are you going
So
to
that's-
practice?
That is my question.
Right? So, like you said, we need to get our own land and grow our own
And
stuff.
that's what conservation is
Yes,
about. We need
right.
to have our own reservation.
Right, so we don't have to go through
land, so that we don't
lands.
have to go through other
Yes.
other
So we don't have to
community
go
does
through
that.
others, right.
They do business with each
It's-
other. They have their own stuff. We need
Especially
to have our own land.
when you
Yeah.
consume, you're the main consumer of
Yes,
the thing.
of this thing.
We need
it's
to
more
control
important
it.
for us
Right.
Yeah,
than
we
than
need
these
to-
other
we
people.
need
They
to
don't
grow.
care. Whether or not we have
Right.
right color not to use or not, it bear no, nothing to their livelihood. But it is essential for us. It's essential to our sustainability, to our well-being. So, and then we face this challenge in Oshogbo, whereby we have the Igbodu, where we do the IFA initiation for the city of Oshogbo, and then it comes to a problem where they're saying some part of the land, they own, it belongs to so people that they had to relocate and Igbodu and forfeit that space because that's the problem that you run
that's
into
the government
when you don't have your
When
own
you don't
thing.
have your own system.
Okay, yeah.
So
You have to have somebody in that space.
It's ridiculous. Like, you say we want to build a church. Government gave them land.
Right.
All those big churches
They get tax
they
breaks.
gave
They
them
get
land.
everything.
That's
But
because
for in Sheshe people,
Right.
they
But
get
see,
nothing.
Right.
but see, the reason why the church is under the government.
Yeah.
Now
That's what they want to push. That's the narrative. So you get all the rewards for being Christian.
Right.
You get
But
the
you gotta
opposite
have
for being
that
say something.
preacher gotta have a certain amount of people in
Yes.
that church because they're gonna look. The government look at
Oh, they
numbers.
coming.
They look.
You open the church,
all
they
they
coming.
look at is numbers.
Whatever they need to do to bring
Everything
you
is
in,
numbers.
Yeah.
they're doing in the church.
Yes.
Right.
Everything we have, you
Yeah.
have hip hop, you have rap,
Yeah.
as long as you
'Cause
you
it's
say
the
the
numbers.
almighty name, whatever
But
they
it's the
need to
numbers
do
game.
to keep you in there.
That's it.
That
Yeah.
is what they'll do.
It's
and that's
a numbers
what we need
game.
to do now.
It's a numbers game.
For me, I'm always like, I don't preach to people. I don't advertise because I know my way work, so I don't have to
And you don't have to.
confuse and
Right.
convince anyone that,
Right.
this thing works.
Because that's
But
not our job.
But at the same time, you're right. It's the number game.
the numbers,
and right
I'm
now,
telling
we
you.
don't have the number.
Yeah.
And the reason
No, we
why-
have the numbers. We're just not. It's hard. We separate.
The numbers we do have was
The num-
separated.
we got number.
No.
Like with this IFA thing,
Yeah.
as we all know, just here in Atlanta alone. Come on, there's a lot of people, right?
I
But-
know what she's saying. She's saying over there, the Christians and it's so many of them
Oh, okay.
versus the that's what she's saying versus
Yes.
the tradition.
Tradition, okay.
Yeah.
The
Right.
Isheshe, okay.
Over here is different.
It's
Over
different.
here,
Yeah.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
And
We have
it's
numbers
different
here.
Yeah, it's different here, but
But
even
the thing is, we're
we
divided.
divided.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
It is. It's beyond. If you're gonna be honest, it is beyond. And there's a lot of prophecy. There's a lot of things that I've prophesied in the past that I know is gonna come to. I mean, that's why I keep talking about this conversation thing because, it's just like when the spirits talk to you and you can see what lights are ahead, and in your heart it breaks because you don't want to see something that is a life saving. Like that's not nothing else to it. It's a life saving to just die off.
Right.
Because the reason why it's important to me is because I want my children.
Yes.
I'm gonna be old and leave this world one day, but I'm gonna be at peace,
Right.
knowing that my
Knowing that.
children are in good hands, knowing that they
Right.
are well taken care of, knowing that they have the resources at their reach
Right.
to sustain
To
and
sustain,
maintain
maintain,
their
yeah.
spiritual well-being. And that's as important. And if this is not particular to anyone, you just selfish.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just
Right,
that's
yeah.
just
That's
the thing.
true.
And then that's why this division of a thing is destroying the community because in our own doing we are destroying our future because us not being in unison and speaking in one voice is a detrimental factor to
It
the
is.
future. That means we're not gonna have an institution.
And we
That
are
is-
responsible
For
for
it-
doing it because we are like the new elders. Like your
Yeah.
Baba and
there's
getting older.
there's few of them left.
Right.
I mean, every day I wake up, I panic.
somebody
I mean,
passing
literally
away.
every day.
Yeah. So we are the new elders.
and living us.
Right, we are. So we like you said, we have to start now. My son Iyalorisa is 4. Your daughter, like for instance, here right now, all the let's say the Yoruba worshipers, Risha Ifa people in Atlanta in this area, there should be a Yoruba school here where you could take your baby and she's safe. And to be teaching Yoruba and teaching economics and history and all the math and science and everything else we need to learn, right?
Yeah.
We should have that in Charlotte. We should have it in South Carolina, in New York.
There's
in
no
DC.
reason why we cannot do that.
It
there's no
starts
reason.
with the
I
language.
met a Muslim. He was telling me when they were building their masjid, their imam will go to Africa and bring Islamic cleric here to teach them stuff. You know, they will stay on sabbatical for 6 months, 8 months. There's no way we cannot duplicate that and replicate that practice. You know, there are a lot of priests. I know they don't speak English, you know, but there's a few of us who have been able to, you know, go in between both words. Like, you can bring them here. If it's language, you want to be here 6 months, you can sponsor them to be here. You can sponsor people here to go back home. It needs to be a cultural exchange.
It has to be an exchange because we have things that we can
exchange.
share. We all have things that you can share.
Student exchange.
It needs to be, you know, trade. You know, just exchange. That's what it should have been done. And I know, you know, my dad said, like he said, I've been coming here since the 70s, and I still cannot, you know, beat my chest away the changes that has occurred here. You know, individually people are doing well.
Right.
But
collectively,
we are not.
So we're not really doing well.
We are not.
We're not really doing
because
well. I don't care how many cars you got.
It's not really about individualism. If we're gonna, if we are going to have a future, they say we need to just drop that.
And society is proving that now because look at rent, look at the cost of housing. Look at the cost of food. Whenever they get ready, they push the gas prices up.
Yep.
So it's getting harder now to maintain the way we've been doing it.
Yep.
Everybody got their own house. You might $1,500, $2,000 on the rent or the mortgage, and all the bill. Everything is too high. We got to buy land and get some. We got people that build. Get your resources and start building. Have our own community, grow our own food. All the stuff we talk about. But it can be done. But like you said, we have to be intentional.
That's the thing. That is the thing, though. I mean, even in the relationship, if you don't make time, that time will not come. We can talk about it. If we don't take action, it will not come. And then this division is so ridiculous to the point that we don't recognize talent. When we see it, we're not taking advantage of the good quality people and talented individuals that we have in our community.
Facts.
And it's killing us.
Facts.
Because we're so focused on who is benefiting. It should be about the greater good.
Right.
I don't care whose name is all over Facebook. And another thing that I like to point out, like, you all know this community only exists on Facebook, so drop it.
Drop it.
Drop it. Nobody know who you are on the streets. Nobody know, you know,
we got too
whether
many Facebook,
you have title, you have this,
Facebook,
you know,
we got IFA.
It's all on social media thing. In the real life, in the bigger aspect of things, you're a number.
Right.
You know, yes. You know, you are a number. It's just like, you know, that's why I posted a little while ago about the demystification of priesthood. Yes, you know, calm down, bring it down a little bit.
Tone it down.
Because a lot of people are not humble.
They're not humble.
And it's so sad that I educate people, some people that, you know, I've been fortunate to be in my fold, and I tell them that I notice a pattern that you see people, they live the shackle of Christianity and then come back to be shackled to in the Sheshe practice. It's absurd.
Listen,
this is
what I talk about.
It's like conversation all the time.
You're bringing the Christian way. And we know the dogma of Christianity, and then you bring it into
over here.
Right, and you do the same pattern. You got to go hard.
I tell you,
I'm the best Christian, or I'm the best Ifa.
This is not a race.
It's like,
this is not a race, and that's why the education needs to come in. I know people want to learn how to do divination. They want to, you know,
this
ritual.
They want to kill things.
But we are missing out in the big part of the education about the way of life, because you have to understand that if you have a right, if you are educated correctly, you will know we all have different destinies. So you know, our own timing on this, you know, is different.
I always say every Babalawo is not a diviner.
Yeah.
You don't have to be. Like, you can work in other areas.
That's what people don't want to do, though.
It's like, I want to get in
for me, I tell people whenever I have the opportunity to, you know, to speak like this, I just like, my calling is beyond the mat. And I'm thankful to Ori, I'm thankful to Ifa that I yield I yielded and then listened to when if I was just like, this is the path that I chose for you. This is, you can do other things, but this is where you're gonna do and be more, have the most success
for
and
you.
be most
But
effective
you know,
for me and my destiny.
Right.
And for the thing, like every now and then I just feel like, you know what, I want to be a minister. Just because we don't have that name in either you are a diviner and that's it.
Right.
But for me, I'm more my calling is more on the ministerial aspect, because to be honest, like I am gifted that I'm be able to speak life into people.
That's
like
nice.
I would talk to people and they would tell me afterwards that things that they were going through in their life.
Where we picking it up at? Where we?
Iyalorisa, you were saying, you were talking about, gosh.
We were talking
What was
about a
your
lot of
last
stuff.
one?
We were deep in the conversation.
No.
Yes.
So, you were talking about your ministry. being in
Okay,
the
yes,
ministry,
yes.
yeah.
So,
So-
it's just really about okay. So for me, I see my calling as more ministerial, as opposed to, you know, sitting down on the mat,
Right.
you know, and that's why I invoke it in my writing,
That's it,
because
sure.
I did the math. Like, okay, you sit in your household attending to clients. Let's say you see about 5, 6, 7 people in a day, but when you minister to people,
Right.
when you write like I do, you're reaching millions of people.
That's true.
You're touching a greater number. You're making
That's
more
true.
impact, and that's my own opinion.
That's
you
true.
know, and then another thing that people need to focus on is, you got a divination that if I say, okay, maybe you must practice as a priest, but you already have a job that would not allow you, you know, to incorporate that at this time in your life. It is all good. There's a lot of ways that you can practice as a priest that you
Right.
don't have to just,
You don't
know,
have to quit your
you don't have
job.
to quit it,
If I
your
said I
job.
need to quit my job, and they do it
And
like,
then-
if I didn't say next week, if I said
Yes.
it didn't say when,
It's a progress,
But-
you know.
yeah.
Eventually, you
It
may
takes
get
time. You
there.
gotta
It takes
gradually
time, you
move
know.
in.
and you just got initiated,
So,
went to Africa, you came back, you got a reading. If I said you could quit your job because you need to have an email, oh Lord, here we go.
and I like to say, we're just like, when people come to me after they've been through, you know, those, you know, levels of misinformation, just like, I like to say, I don't know how IFA was sold to you, because they bought something and it's not the
Oh,
real
yeah.
deal.
Oh, yeah.
Facts.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so that's why the whole magical thing, you know, the old theatric, the old showmanship, you know,
Yeah.
came into being, because
Right.
they want to make it worth the while. They want to make it worth the money. Like for me
They think
personally,
that
I
case is
really don't
bulletproof.
care whether if I have 5 minutes with you, and I think my 5 minutes worth $500. That's what I'm charging, because you either don't value me or don't value the thing that I do. So that's why I see this, you know, because, you know, if you value the information that is given to you, if you value that person, you know, there's no price that's too high if you can afford it. We're not
Right.
talking about price gouging or
Price
any
gouging.
gouging or anything here,
Right.
you know, but it's the value that people don't place.
You know your value.
I know my value, you know, so I'm
Right.
not gonna cheapen myself,
Right.
you know, just to succumb
And I'm not going to
to
take advantage of you and charge you more either.
I mean, that's the part of the education. That's not even what you do,
Yes.
you know, because a lot of people are coming to you, they're already in problem. You know, as much as you don't want to be emotional invested, you as a human being, it will touch you like, how do I charge you now? You already this way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you have those
Yeah.
moments. There's
Require a
no
lot.
way
I
that
have
you
a-
walk. So when people type, you know, the keyboard warrior, and they say a whole bunch of stuff, they say if you met a seasoned, well-practiced priest, you will know there's a large number of time where they do a lot of pro bono work. You know, I've had
That's
a lot
true.
of money out there that, you know,
Yeah.
just use this. You
Yeah.
know, if you see any changes, come back and do. A lot of people come back, some
Come
don't
back
come
and
back.
say
You
that.
know,
Yeah.
so there's a
And
lot
some
of
don't.
times
Some
where
will, some
you
won't.
even go above and beyond.
Say,
Just because, you know, I'm of the mindset that I don't like to see the bad boy win. You know,
Right.
I don't like to see
Right.
the bad people win. So
Right.
it's enough motivation to say, okay, I want to go above and
I'ma
beyond.
help you.
And also, for testimony, because I want people to know that this work. So if you love Isheshe, if you love your ancestor, there's no way you will engage in diabolical, ways, because there's a lot of misrepresentation, there's a lot of bad press out there for us. So we cannot continue to to push forward the narrative that we bad people, or we are evil, or we are uncivilized, because when we act that way, for real, because when we act that way, we just saying they're right about us.
Right, we're confirming that what you were saying.
Affirming, that they're right about it. And that's one of the reasons why I don't engage in a lot of stuff, because I know that, even though we are not like famous, wealthy, in the American sense of things, but you also understand that there are eyes on you.
Definitely.
Because you under some micro people are just waiting for you to make
waiting for you
to just make that wrong step. That's what they're just waiting.
They just post you on Instagram.
They just
waiting to cancel you, right? That's the thing now.
Cancel you.
To cancel
you. We caught the barber. We knew something was up with him.
And so that's one of the reasons why I'm being intentional about the things that I do, about the things that I say. For me, it's just about the continuity and the and the forward movement. And I'm calling on each and every one of us, whether born in the continent of Africa or born on the soil, North America, South America, wherever you are, if you have the love of your ancestor, you have the love of Isheshe, we all have to put our hand on this and make sure that this does not die with us. That is important.
That is
Can I ask you
message.
one thing? What does Isheshe mean to you?
For me, Isheshe for me is my ancestor. It is not a religion.
Can you say that again, please?
Isheshe is my ancestor. Isheshe is our ancestor. It's my father. It's my Iya. It's the people that have walked this world, walked this path before us. It's the way things are done. It's the tradition. And we must keep it alive. And in keeping it alive, it's about working in union to know the continuation, the way to make this thing work for us better, effectively, work smart. There's a lot of things that can change. We don't have to change the ritual, but we can find the most effective way to do something. And I'll give you an example. My dad would say he was making medicine one day, and the medicine was supposed to go into the gauge, the stuff that you put medicine in, and he put it in a bottle. And one of the babalawo was just like, you have a way of doing things. Are you sure it's gonna work? You put it in the plastic bottle. Are you sure? So my dad was just like, the gauge is a container. It's not part of the ritual. It's not part of the medicine.
If I didn't say it had to go, that's just what y'all used back then. This is the new bottle.
That's the old bottle. So that's the old bottle. Especially now, I have to send this to America. If the inspector see that
in the gourd
and this in the bottle, which one do you think they'll throw away? The one in the gourd, because it's oh my God, what is this? So they serve the same purpose. I'm saying that in essence that we need to find the most effective way to to do our to practice our spirituality in the sense that it is convenient, it is comfortable, and it's not repulsive. Because the way that a lot of people conduct ritual, there is no way you want to have anything to do with it. Out of respect for the practice of of Ifa, whatever Odisha that the uniform, out of respect for her ancestor, we have to do them that solid. We have to do them, to do that so that a lot of Baba Iya, they are alive today only because they are waiting for change to happen. That's the only thing, because we're just like, what do I go back and tell my ancestor?
What's the
report?
The report, like you say, is two things we should be doing right now. Number one, doing building on top of what we inherited, right? Adding to it.
And them
and the kids.
Equip them. And this message also is for all of our elders in Yoruba land and all the elders that we have here. we cannot hide and put this under the pillow and put it in the roof anymore. We need to share knowledge. You know, they say when an elder die, it's like a whole library bond. And that is what is happening.
That's what's happening.
People are dying and taking all of this thing away with them.
Yeah.
So even though the children, you want to succeed your parent, you want to succeed your master and stuff like that, you have nothing to work with.
Right.
Because they didn't share it.
They didn't share it.
It died with them.
So
that's why the institution needs to work.
The institution, because that is what's going to carry after the elders pass away. The institution becomes the wisdom of the elders.
A place where anyone, if you wake up, let's say in your 40 years, and you all of a sudden said, okay, I want to become this, there need to be a place that you can go. And they will train you, and they will teach you and then
the right way. But now
the man died, and so does he practice.
That's right now it's the wild, wild west. So like right now, if somebody wakes up at 30 or 40 and says, you know what, I want to do this. Well, I almost feel sorry for it. It's tough.
It's tough because you already
gotta
have
navigate
a
through
responsibility.
The babalawos in your inbox, the people that you know you really shouldn't be with, but you don't know because you don't know. It's like, so we always tell people, take your time, do some research, find out, hang around the Bible or the EI and see what their character is like. Don't just jump into now you got Orisha and now you in a mess.
I mean, the character aspect is big, and it comes with the education because, you know, when children are born, they're like a sponge. A sponge. And also they were just like a canvas. No, blank canvas. No, nothing. So it's the same thing when people come here. You know, if you are a good person, and I know everybody likes to say they're a good person. And then you are under the tutelage of someone who is, you know, questionable. Before you know it, you are doing the same thing, irrespective of your own personal conviction or for your own personal principle. You know, that's why, you know, sometimes when we say good head rub off on you, so the bad head too. You know, so if you know you don't want to do something, don't go and be, you know, lay down and be, you know, fellowshipping with people whose principle does not align with you.
Doesn't align with you.
And then another thing that we also need to do is, you know, making sure that we expose our children to our way of life. They said, you know, the children are the future. You know, no matter what you do, you have to expose it to your children. You have to let them know. It does them,
become
you know,
the nation.
And in Africa at home, they see it all day long from a baby. It's different. Like here you got to go to a festival or been bathed, but over there it's every other day.
Well, it starts at home.
It starts at home.
It starts at greeting your mama and your father in the morning.
Dobale,
dobale.
You know, greeting the shrine.
I got popped in my head about
that is the thing,
to my mother or something. My mother screamed on me.
Even with my daughter, I'm still trying to do the same thing with her. I mean, I'm just like, oh, you're just gonna wake up. And just, you know,
no
just like,
no greet me.
Greet your mommy properly. Ask me how my night went. You know, when you go to other people's house too, you know, do the same thing. If someone gives you something, so you just like, you know, it starts in the home. And another thing is just about this cultural exchange thing. Like, you know, we're sleeping on talented people, just like we have mentioned. You know, if we have an institution here, and we have an institution back home, we'll be able to work together. But it just seems like, you know, both worlds are suffering from the same disease.
From the same thing.
From the same thing.
But
you know,
everybody is trying to
you know,
take
individual stuff. And I understand in some way, you know, in Nigeria, the community is just getting to the point whereby people will have 5 different party clubs, you know, just let's put it at that. So I understand if people are all about self-serving because they've come a long way of not having, So I understand if people are in just like, I just want to fill my pocket, you know, but here we have the luxury, you know, and we have the, you know, the treasury.
People are fixed on ritual.
Yeah, and that's what is, you know, that's what's killing us
right now.
We have fanatics.
Yeah,
they have come over and they're fanatic. They're
and you have,
with
the implement of Facebook and all of
Just
these
leave
platforms.
That just
Well,
magnifies it.
Facebook is the.
Oh my
I'm
God.
saying Facebook because it's the number one.
That's the
But
number one. That's where all
you
the
can get
problems start.
anybody
All the
on to
problems.
say it's a guy on Facebook. He says, I'm not gonna say it.
Don't do it.
But he talks about an Odu, and you like, what is he talking about? Like, absolutely don't understand. But because you got an iPhone,
You
you
can
can
get
do
on
this,
here.
and you can press
Hit
record, and you can
Yep.
upload it.
Mhm.
You can say what you want to.
No
Yeah.
fact check.
No
And there's
facts.
nobody to say, let me see what you.
Uh-huh.
No, you ain't saying
This is
that
the
'cause you don't
Donald
know what
Trump
you're
era
talking about.
now.
Yes.
You can say
Yeah,
whatever
can say
you
whatever you
want,
want.
and you know they don't.
There's no consequence.
You got to
No
realize
consequence.
that the Western, the power of the Western culture is very powerful.
Yes, it is.
That's something we got to realize.
And it's
And
it's
then we can start
influencing
saying,
too.
yeah,
Mhm.
very. That's the power. It's very influential. Entertainment, sex, drugs, and violence in this country.
Is the order of the
say.
day.
And so even our culture,
That's what they do.
even our practice here, it gets wrapped up into
Oh,
that.
please, let's not even
So we
get
got to
into
deal with that. We got to deal with
It's
it.
part of the evolution.
Oh
we
my
are
God.
we are damaged people.
That is,
trying
that is
to-
another thing, though. That is another thing.
Yeah.
Because we need to be honest.
Mhm.
Because if we are not having honest conversation,
Yeah.
Mhm.
we are not
Yeah.
helping ourselves.
You can't sweep it under the rug.
Yeah, there's so
Yeah.
much of that. There's so
Yeah.
much of that.
Yeah.
So that's what the education needs to come
Yes.
in. The counseling needs to
Yeah.
come in.
The
Like that,
yeah.
that honest conversation needs to come in. The abuse needs to stop. Taking advantage of people,
Of
taking
people.
advantage of, and then sometimes you have to be able to have the discernment to be able to know like who is worth investing time and knowledge into. Like we have mentioned,
Right.
a lot of people are coming here to pollute the pod.
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to know how to do that
deal with that.
selection
Right.
and and weed people out.
Mhm.
I know a lot of people want to say IFA is for, but there needs to be some decorum. If I see that someone has the potential of making us look bad, I'll gatekeep naturally.
Yes.
Right.
And that's what everyone needs to do.
Right.
But I
Yes,
can
yes.
say that because
Yes.
I'm well fed.
Right.
That's what people will say. But for those who are hungry,
Right.
they're just like, oh, you can say that
They-
because you're full.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not a matter
should
of
do it
being
anyway.
full or not.
Right.
That should
You
be.
should just do
that
it.
should just do
Because
it
if you
anyway.
do what's
You know
right,
what's
you will
right
be
and
taken
wrong.
care of anyway, so you don't have to worry
You
about
won't
it.
have to worry about
You
that.
gotta know what's
Yeah,
right and
that
what's wrong.
gatekeeping
And that's it.
it needs to be. We just
Yeah.
cannot give everything to everybody. It just cannot
that's what's
be
happening.
that way.
That's true.
Because
I
if
see
we
some
continue like that,
initiates. I see some people that's been initiated. I wish that people initiate. It's just the beginning. It's not like you this powerful. You have become this powerful grand wizard.
that's the
Now.
misconception.
You know what I mean?
Misconception.
It's like
That's
your life
You're not a
is just
Babalawo,
beginning.
you're not a
Misconception.
Iyalorisa.
Your
It's
life is just beginning.
Yeah,
The
it's
journey is
just a
just
complimentary
beginning.
title because you've been initiated. Somebody might say
Or maybe we need to
Right.
stop calling
But
people
I
that.
think we need to stop that.
Anyway, we
because
need
it's
to,
confusing.
it's
Me too.
confusing. The moment someone
Don't give
gets
them the
initiated,
title
you start
of-
calling them Babalawo.
Yeah.
Because you're
Maybe
not.
we need to stop that.
You need
You
to
know,
stop.
We do. Because they need to graduate to that.
You an
There needs to be a
initiate.
graduation
You an
to
IFA
that.
initiate.
Yeah.
Nobody will refer to you as
even when you're still learning, you are Oma
Awo.
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 Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
in training.
Yes.
Right.
So Baba is like Helda is like a grand. It's like when you've mastered something and you
Mhm.
specialize.
Right.
You have the grand knowledge. That's why they call you Baba or Iya. Apart from being a parent,
Right,
being a mom
right,
or a dad.
right,
So
right.
that's a title that we just
Yeah.
we use carelessly.
Oh, here you Baba and Iya. You can go put that in front of your
for
name.
so long, I didn't even want anyone to call me Baba. Yeah, just call me by my name.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
because I feel like, do I have that knowledge? Because coming from Nigeria, you know what it means. It's not something that
It's
people
not a
just
play-
throw
it's not a
around.
joke,
So when
nah.
they say yeah, they're just like, no, just call
Just
me
call
by
me
name.
that.
Yeah.
It's like a doctorate
You see
degree
that?
over
Yeah.
the real Babalawo, Iyanifa, Iyalorisa, Iyalorisa is not a joke thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They went
Yeah.
through a
And they're
lot
not
of
loud
training.
with it.
I mean,
They're
to
not
me, it's
loud.
a disadvantage
don't
to
have to
those
be.
people who have really took the sacrifice, the
Exactly.
pain to.
It's
you know,
disrespectful
it's
to them,
disrespectful.
actually. It's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
to just just throw it out casually and just give the title to just someone who just wake up from the mat.
Yeah.
And it's just really part of the discipline that we really don't have.
Yeah.
I mean, we can blame people who don't know, but what about people who know and do nothing?
And who still do nothing? Yeah.
So because a lot of people want to teach me this, teach me that. I am really strong on my conviction and my principle are just like, okay, the ones that you previously had, that knowledge that was previously given to you, what have you done with it? So what's the point in gaining more?
Keep teaching and more, getting more and more.
If you're not using it, it's no different with someone who has and don't use and someone who has none.
That's true.
So it was just like, just don't waste my time, don't be in this social pressure that everybody want to one-up each other. They see it as a competition.
There is a competition.
Who can chant more, who can do this more, but in deep in our personal life, we rotten.
Exactly.
It's just it's gonna work against each other later because a lot of people want to present themselves to the public before they do the inner work. And then when everything all crashed down, they want to go back inside and then do the work and then want to reintroduce themselves to the people.
That's
and
so
people
true.
have since moved on.
That's so true.
The people you were trying to catch on to, they're gone. So it was just like, what is the point of doing this? And then they regress.
Yeah.
They relapse.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Because they're not doing it for good reason. They're not doing it for the good intention. And of recent, I was talking to a young lady that she didn't realize that initiation can be done to mend a life. She just thought you do it if you want to become an Iyanifa. So when I broke it down for her, I said, no. If someone is sick, IFA can say they need to initiate the person to help them, if someone is experiencing poverty, IFA can say initiation is what they need to do.
Right.
If someone there is IFA in their family, in their ancestral lineage, and they need to be the one to bring it back. IFA could recommend initiation. So not everybody needs to be initiated just so they can be
you out of poverty.
If you want to be a priest, the training comes first before the initiation.
Right.
Initiation is like part of your graduation. Like your
from
send-off,
from your
everything
everything you've been learning.
Everything that you've been learning.
That was my experience.
You have the certificate, now you have the, you can sit on the big boys table now, So we just like, but a lot of people are just thinking, so they can practice IFA. You can practice IFA. You've been doing it, every waking day.
Right.
And that generally starts at home. Like the IFA practice is something that you are born into on your compound. And when it's going on at your compound, you just, as a child, you just jump right in there, basically. And do with your elders or your father.
It's inborn. And I feel so sorry for my daughter because I want the same experience for her, but, it is what it is. But if it is, you miss it so much, and I have to be honest. Like it is something that you miss because I'm quite fortunate, to have such a such a life, to have such an upbringing, and it equipped me to to be here today, to be able to do this today. Because if not, like I'm just gonna be a number two.
So what motivated you to come here?
I mean, I didn't want to be here and be doing spiritual work. I mean, I have to be honest. I am just, I just want to be have a professional work. Everybody else that is affected by Eurocentric way of thought. I was a victim of that as well. I just want to build a career.
Come over here, make a better life.
I've been to law school. I've have my BSc, and I just want to I want to go to school. I want to get an education. I want to get my master's degree. My PhD, and have a job. That I can say I'm professor. That's the most prideful thing. That's what you can sit around people and you can say with pride that okay, I'm a professor. I'm a doctor of this. Not like I'm Iyanifa. I mean, to be honest, that was for me too. I was deeply affected by that. I didn't have the confidence. I didn't know or understand the value of what I have
what
in
you
my
had.
possession.
Right.
You know,
Yes, yes.
I mean, that's why I'm so blessed that I had the opportunity to live here, because you know, if you didn't get out, you would never, understand the magnitude of of what you had
Of
in
what
your
you
possession,
had, what you
and
already
it
had.
also make you value it more. Because I had so much respect, like I have so much great love for my parents more. I have so much, even sympathy for them, because they went through, all of
Went
it.
through a lot, yeah.
For us to be able to be here and just, to speak freely about
Right.
this and stuff like that. So that is just, that's for me. I was just like, but then life showed you. Life just keeps showing itself. Like, I've had my hands in various things. I've wanted to be this, I've wanted to be that. So I keep going from point A to point B, and then in Nigeria we say what you are looking for in Sokoto is a town, it's a city in the northern part of Nigeria is in the pocket of your Sokoto. So that's just a way to put it.
And that's what for you. That's the
what
example.
it for me. If I just keep saying this is what you bought, I was so adamant that I was so strong at it, and in trying to be different. And I would tell my mom all the time. And I tell her all the time like that. Oh, we don't have to do the same thing. We all don't have to sleep and put our head in the same direction. I just want to do something opposite, something different. It's not that I don't love it, or I don't see the good in it, but it's something in me was just like, you need to do something different. I want to stand out. But if you don't have a mentor, and this is why all this conversation needs to happen. If you don't have a mentor, someone that can show you, okay, you might not want to deal with the blood. You might not want to, wake up 12 midnight pounding herbs and stuff like that. But wait, what is your talent?
It's so much that could be done.
There is so much that you can do. And look at me now today. I've used a lot of people just like, oh, you cannot discount the Elebuibon family. Because we have used our talent. We have used our gift. That's what we contribute. That's what we bring to the table. That's what makes us valuable. That's what makes us valuable allies, make us valuable friends, valuable, priests and stuff like that. Because you're able to use your skills. And okay, let me use my talent to better, myself, and to something that is valuable to the community. And that's what happened to me until I reached that point in my life. And it was quite unfortunate. Like my younger brother passed away in 2015.
Then we remember.
And that hit me. Like it hit me so bad. Like you were away from home. I'm here in America. And I'm doing doing whatever I'm doing, going through whatever I'm going through. And then that happens. And it was just like that moment of change for me, because that was the year that I changed. The trajectory of what I want to do with my life, because I had to reach the bottom, the very 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 bottom, and just like what do I do? What do I have in my possession to get me to where I need to be? And I just sit down. I've had chapters of books, materials that have been written since I was in Nigeria. Never put them together. So that moment just happened to me, just like, what?
Just click.
We were working on the book together, just like, all this book that I said I was going to write. How about I write it? So I was just like, and that was how, I didn't even know what I was doing. The book was poorly written, poorly edited.
Just do it. But you did it.
But I did it anyway. And I
Right.
thank every single one who bought the book, because, my God, thank you. And every single person that has been supporting my, my venture since then, it means so much to be able to do something. And and I take it upon myself to, I said, okay, if somebody else needs to do it, well, why not you?
Right.
And that's the question that we need to ask ourselves. Why not you? Why are you pushing up the responsibility? Why are you pushing up something that has been appointed to you? They said Shango is not going to answer the message of Oya. And that's how it is. What is for you to do, that's what you must do. And since then, we keep moving. We're still moving since then. So that's just, I'm such a like intuitive writer. I let the spirit guide me. Like, I just go back inward. Like, what is it? I mean, and I'd like to do survey. I like to ask people, what is it that you want it to be written about? Because you have to also be conscious about the market too. What people, what people want too.
Research.
Yeah, so you have to also do that. So it's just like for a lot of young people out there, whether they are here or back home, you just have to look into your pocket. Look at what is it, what value do you want to bring to this community? We are taking. We all of this knowledge that we have, somebody gave it to us. We don't own it. Nobody own IFA. Nobody, we don't own the spirit. We don't own nothing. So if you
don't own IFA.
No, you don't. Somebody gave it to you, and then you have to pass it down.
You have to pass it down. That's one of the protocols
don't sit on it.
The culture.
Yeah, so you have to pass it down.
Let's
Let's be conscious.
That's
let's be
how it
intentional
stays
about our activism, because we need that. We need activism. We need to think about the future, the conservation of Isheshe, the sustainability of it, the way to be able to effectively practice it. We need to network. We need exchange. We need to have our own school. We need to have our own reservation. We need to have have our own herb store that is dedicated to our well-being. Like, I go back to Nigeria, I can't even eat at restaurant because they're not conscious that people have food taboo. So I have to make sure all my food I eat from home, because they put in the same spoon that they put in this soup in another. So they don't know that some people, food allergy is not really a thing in Nigeria, in Africa. I say, much less taboo, So it's just a little bit about we getting into ventures in order to help us practice our spirituality better. Like, you don't have to leave your job. We need people. We need lawyers. We need engineers. We need doctors. I mean, we need custom brokers.
We need all of that.
We need all of that in our community as well. Everybody don't have to sit on the mat. It's killing us. Get up.
That is the message.
Please
find out what your role is. Yes,
your
play
destiny, your place. Yes,
and play your
play your
we
role.
Can't do everything.
Just stick to your role.
Yes,
and do it well.
Yeah, do it well. Do it effectively.
And perfect it.
And
that is what we need to do. I mean, if you are
a
clinical psychologist, or you just have a marriage counselor, if you have the knowledge of IFA, you will be led by spirit to help your clients better. Weave it into your practice.
We were just talking about that
doctors
earlier
in Nigeria, they do that.
Yeah, but we
lawyers in Nigeria, they do that.
We had a judge. He was a IFA priest, and he lived in New Jersey. I think he passed on, but he would go to the back with his ofuele. And
show me the way.
Show me the way.
He's here. I mean, you can have people lying
he
there.
Merged it. He just merged it. He merged his profession with his IFA profession.
And he used IFA to help him be a better judge.
Yes. If you are a doctor, a lot of people are suffering from spiritual affliction. You need to heal that first before you heal the physical.
Then you can do the
and then you can
you can get the herbs and the medicine and stuff. But
all that stuff, so even with education, with education, we need to do that. Let's develop curriculum. Institutionalize the practice of priesthood. Not just anybody comes in. There's no check and balance. But then if you have that, we know people who does well in school. We know people who do not do well. Like, if I have friends who has failed several classes and all of a sudden they are doctor, they are not touching me. Yes.
They might have paid for that.
Yes, people do that. They pay for people to write their thesis. They pay for people to do their assignment for them and stuff.
Pay for the kids in Ivy League colleges. You remember
the same way you will not allow a doctor who has half education to work on you or your family,
Right.
you should not allow a priest,
That's it.
you
Same
know,
thing.
who is not, who doesn't know what they're doing to guide you, much less work on you, So that's the same way. I think, like I said, the
Yes.
value, the
Yeah.
same value you pay, you pay to your physical health, is the same one that you need to apply to your spiritual health. They
That's
are
it.
equally as important.
Yes.
So that's
Spiritual
one thing.
maintenance.
And you
Yeah.
can't neglect
You
one.
can't neglect one for the other.
You can't make an elbow to improve your health if you're eating at McDonald's every day. We have to
Or Church's
use
chicken.
our
Yeah.
Ori.
It's all about
Church's
balance.
chicken, Popeyes, Taco
Popeyes.
Bell.
Keep
But you
going.
want to do an elbow
Burger King.
for your health. No.
And it is if I sees her, my sister-in-law, she did her IFA initiation, and her taboo was peanuts. And she told me since she observed a taboo, she used to have a lot of acne breakout. But she didn't realize it was peanut.
was
That
the
was
peanut.
it was the
Yeah,
peanut.
it was-
And
it
then
was
she
allergic.
stopped, and they are, look at how the spiritual and the physical. Look at how they married. They work together. So they are equally
They work
as
together.
important. So it was just like there's so much value that we can bring to Isheshe. Our wellness is important to us. So we
Yeah.
just we cannot neglect that.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your market?
Okay, so my website is called Iyalaje Market. Iyalaje means mother of money. Aje is money.
Shake.
So, Iyalaje Market, the motivation for that, I love to do when I did my initiation, if I sales, this is someone that will have 5, use it to make business, and then double the money. So I know doing business is in my life.
Part of your
It's
destiny.
part of my destiny. So me just doing Iyalaje Market is not just for me alone. It's for me fulfilling my destiny.
Right.
And then it's just it's just a way to a lot of people who are not spiritually or cultured, they can bring whatever to you, and they tell you it happens in Nigeria. The Muslim and Christian, they run the market. So they sell leaves to you, and they tell you it is this leaf. And it is not.
And it's not.
Just to make money. But if you have someone who is in the culture, who is in the tradition,
Right.
that is selling you the market, they know the consequence.
They
They,
know, right.
understand the
Right,
consequence
right.
of mix and match.
Right.
Of betraying the trust, because you understand like this thing is going into someone's table.
Right.
It's gonna make the priest look bad.
Right.
Bad. It's gonna make his sachet look bad. If a priest work with a fake material,
Right.
thinking it was the original, and they give it to their clients. The clients will say, "Oh, it doesn't work. Maybe you don't know what you're doing, but it's the market people that are selling." So that's more of the reason why. So many times I've really taken my hell in bigger hell, that I almost quit. But at the same time, I have to understand like the purpose that it serves.
Yeah.
Because of that reason alone, the people will, they will betray you. In terms of the quality and misrepresent things
Yeah.
to you. But for someone like me, born and raised in the culture, and I understand the value of
Right.
this, there's no way
You
I
won't
want
do
to.
that.
I won't do that. So that's one of
Right.
the reasons why I stuck out. Doing this Iyalaje Market, bringing valuable quality products from Africa, from Nigeria, from the
See.
Yoruba land,
Very nice.
and bringing it here, making sure that it's available. Because it's important that you support small business. And I tell you this, you have your money. You on a life or death situation. You have all this money, but there's nobody to sell you the material that you need for your wellness. Your money means nothing. So you have to understand that even though we are in the business to make money, but we are also giving you something of value in exchange for
Quality.
it, because in needs you need people,
Yes.
who are opening businesses to help the community better. Bringing other stuff that are not necessarily available here, bringing it closer to us. If we don't do it the Chinese would, and you don't want the Chinese to, and you don't want the Chinese to step in. So support the Iyalaje Market. And another thing that we're doing is just like we doing business with people in the culture, in the tradition, and make sure of that. So the money goes back to the
the
community.
culture.
I was
Stays in the
deliberate with that,
community, right.
because I
That's-
just like, you know what? the Muslims don't want us. The Christians don't want us. I'm not giving you my money.
That's right.
So that I was deliberate with that. So I make sure before I even source for any other supplier outside, I make sure I patronize. I buy from my mom. I buy from other women in the community that I know they are.
So everybody,
people,
if you're doing business,
benefits.
listen and pay attention to this, because this is how we have to operate. We have to operate with a cultural integrity, or a cultural, what's the other word I'm looking for? Not focus, but it's like I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but it's like a code that we abide by. Like just like I told the example before, if you know a Chinese person is doing business, and I'm selling something that they need, and I can be selling it cheaper than their other Chinese business partner, they won't buy it from me because their culture would not allow them to do that. Their whole culture, they would get ostracized and they would get beat up so bad by doing that they would never break that code.
And
because they understand that.
Go against their own community.
They won't do it.
And that's something that we need to have. That's one thing that we need to have, because you know, in business you have satisfactory customer, and then you have people who will not be satisfied with your service or your product, and then I have someone who just like, oh, I have like 20 to 25 or 50 people in my ile. I'm gonna tell them not to do business with you anymore. So I was just like, what is what we got going? You know, has to do with other people in your, and you know, and since then I don't see his business anymore, and I'm good, but it just shows character, the type of quality of the people that we have, because you know, you think you hurting me, no, you know, you're hurting the community. You know, so it's a kind of, you know, people who are not patient in, you know, the kind of way that they cannot handle business with Amazon or any other people. They want to come at you and, you know, and double up that pressure that they need to take elsewhere.
You go back to Walmart after they mess your order up.
Yeah, you go. Yes, that's the thing, though. You still give Amazon your money after several lost packages, and then small business cannot make one small mistake. You cancel them.
Especially
you know?
us, our people.
We don't have patience and forgiveness with each other.
We don't.
And that is not good.
Yeah, that's why we can't prosper.
That's true. That is true, though. That is true.
But
and
you see it in your community, on your street. Like,
the Facebook is making the matter worse. And for real, though, because before you even have the opportunity to meet people, you already cancel them. I mean, it's true.
You already canceled. I don't even know that.
Yes, and you've never even met. Maybe they express a thought that doesn't align with yours, or maybe you are in a fight with someone and you post about it on Facebook, and innocently they comment to support you. Now they have a problem with someone that they don't even know. So Facebook is just really the wild west right now. It just is in the way, and it's more destructive.
It's doing more harm.
It's doing more harm than good. And people need to be intentional about the stuff that we put out there on social media. There's a lot of things that's not the place for it.
It's not.
And then we need to be disciplined about the way we handle disagreement. You know, because you know, people want to come for me. I just realize I don't come for people, but you want to come for me. For my only thing, it was just like, you know, you don't have to show these millions of people how bad of a character you have. You know, but if you don't mind, go ahead. You know, but I'm not participating. You know, so that's the etiquette and the education that we need to give to our people. I mean, you know, several years ago, where the community in Nigeria, they were, you know, ashing it out on Facebook. I had to put a call home. I called my dad. I called my dad. I was just like, you know, Araba, you have to step in. You have to call your people into order. Like, this is embarrassing. This is not a good. I know they just find out that they have an audience. Now everybody want to speak. You know, but no, they don't have the etiquette. They don't have the.
That's what I said. This right here. You can go like this.
You know, people who nobody knows. All of a sudden they see they get to the attention. Now they're going crazy with it. So my dad had to step in. He called both of them, like, you know, stop this Facebook
Everybody
nonsense.
Stop.
And they did the situation.
And this is the thing.
So that's the thing. We need the elders.
We always it's gonna be a disagreement or something or whatever. But we don't have to go public with it.
Yes, that's the thing.
Especially when it's in house. Have you ever seen any Jewish people do that?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen any Chinese people do that? They don't do
Look
that.
at the amount of stuff that's been talked about the Catholic priests. They don't come on Facebook or on the internet.
The mafia, they don't do that. Like, these guys, I'm really pissed off. These guys stole my, my drugs, my shipment, and we're gonna stop it. Like,
I mean, it's the attention.
It's the attention. It's the new currency.
Yeah.
That's the new drug.
And then you want your sanity, take yourself out of some group. I mean, when I took myself out of some unhealthy Facebook, group, I felt better because it was just like the back and forth, the bickering, this stuff. Like we're just like, is this equality of the people that we have?
Right.
I mean, it can be, but
Facebook makes billions of dollars off of
so that's another thing that we just we need to not all ritual needs to be posted.
It doesn't, especially blood sacrifice. We don't need to post that.
Yes, that's the thing.
You see a lot of
other communities do. They do ritual. They do stuff too. But
they don't
on
post
Facebook.
And that is why it's easy for people to create fake profile because you put all of these things they need to catch catch unsuspecting people. You put it out there, they copied it from your page and they posted it as there. Now everybody see it. They say that.
And new people don't know. Like sometimes
know
people will come to us, we do DAFA, and then we tell them, the elbow is going to be done, in Africa. And they'll say, well, can you send me a video of the elbow being done? And Bobby Ifa Bukumi is like, no, we cannot. Because we might have somebody in Ifon and Ikiti doing it. A lot of those people, they got flip phones. They don't even have smartphones. These people do this work, and this is what they do. Like, they don't have, it's not, and if that's okay, if you don't trust us or whatever you want us to do it, then we're not thirsty for your money. You can take your money, and you can go get it done with somebody. We'll do the videotape. And you still don't know if it's being done right or not.
Of course. You
somebody can send you a video.
In your presence, and they still
didn't do nothing.
You either gonna trust or you don't.
They're gonna eat that goat later that they just killed, and they didn't do nothing.
That's the thing that we don't have here. I mean, we spend close to $300 each to buy 2 goats. That's $600. And after all is done, they wrap it up in a bag, and I ask them whether it's we take it in the wood. I understand.
Feed the community with the goat.
I'm being from Nigeria.
Especially you being from where you're from.
You know how many family you're gonna bless?
Cook it.
Do you know how many people are hungry right here in Atlanta that could eat that goat?
Homeless.
$600.
That's homeless.
Homeless.
Yeah. So that's another thing that we also need to be conscious of and be responsible in our the ritual that we do. Like before I even know about Cascade, Reserve, I went online and I look at all of the reviews that people are leaving behind. It's always something that some people left behind. It's always so we cannot say we are lover of Isheshe and desecrate on the mother heart. We can just say we love Oshun and pollute the water. So that's another thing that we also need to be conscious of. Like you leave all this thing out there.
Exactly.
There's no cleaning up team.
Yeah.
So if it is not something that is perishable, that is biodegradable, don't leave it out.
You just made a good point though. Like with the Oshun. You got Oshun, you got all the Oshun with Lakers on it, then you go litter in the water.
Yeah.
You totally disconnected. Or litter anywhere as an Orisha practice. Or just certain behaviors that people have and they say they practice in this culture. And you're trying to, but you fall short of the mark because people don't understand the entirety, and if they do, they don't want to practice it because it's too hard. I have to change. I gotta pull my pants up. I gotta put on the lapa. I can't wear my little sexy, like I can't handle my body out. Like no, not.
I mean, I've been to one of my Baba Ile, and he has to put a notice outside: no guns allowed. So those are a lot of
in Nigeria.
In America.
In America.
Yeah, in America. Yeah. So those are the kind of things that you need to
they come into the house.
You have to. No, it's real.
And then any little. I mean, I've so much. One of my Baba had there in North Carolina was telling me they having an event gathering. Someone got upset and he pulled one out.
Oh yeah.
Or they put one out on each other. I was just like, oh my god, my god.
Babalawos. We pulling out guns on each other now.
Yes.
Yep. Those are the things, the check and balances thing that we are the gatekeeping that needs to happen.
Yeah.
You know, when you have Omoawo and they live with you, and there's a sense in the way our ancestor does things. You are able to see their true nature.
Yes.
You are able to know who they are.
Right.
So that gives you the insight to, okay, this person I can give A to, and he's gonna be most useful. This person I can give B to, and if you see someone that is all tempered and stuff, you want to teach them too much art stuff because they're impulsive. They act based on emotion, and they could be destructive even to themselves. Right. So those are the the things that we are able to do to know who you give what to. It's not a one size fits.
Right.
And that's the one thing that everybody needs to implement in their practice.
That's true.
You're not being selfish. I know a lot of things that people say, oh, the Nigerians don't want us to know anything. Nobody has the authority.
That's not my experience.
Nobody has the authority to deny you. If you act accordingly, if you are respecting, you respect the tradition, you respect the knowledge that you are into, and you are of good character. If I say that you have a questionable character, I don't care how much money do you have.
The money is not
gonna give anything to you. Or maybe I see that you don't wanna, you're being lazy with your study. It's gonna be discouraging to me as a teacher. You don't want to learn how to speak Yoruba, but you want to be a Babalawo. You
gotta learn.
You have to learn the language.
That's part of the culture.
You cannot be like a rabbi without knowing how to read, without knowing how to read in Hebrew or even speak some, something in Hebrew, and stuff like that. You go back to their holy land, you go to Israel, you go to their school, you go to their synagogue. There's some gatekeeping that until you reach like 40 years of age, they don't even let you participate or be exposed to certain knowledge. But then you want to come here and then talk about they don't want us to have this, they don't want us to have this. But then in your waking life, you have no discipline, you have no respect, you have no self-control. But you want me to give you something that could possibly destroy,
give you this power,
destroy and alter the course of life. That's not possible.
No.
That is not possible. So you have to understand that there is a sense in what we do back home. It's not a matter of if you speak Yoruba today, sign up for classes. People will be more than willing. It's not really about you understanding what is being taught to you. It's breaking the wall, breaking the barrier. If I see an American come to Nigeria and speak Yoruba to me, my walls come down.
I say.
Because you've done your work, you've taken the time.
That you took the time to learn. So I have a certain respect for
such commitment. But for someone who've not done nothing,
10 years and all you know is a lafia.
That is it.
Come on now.
Not even
10 years, nothing.
10
years, nothing. I mean, people want to talk about how long they've been initiated. No, it's not a matter of how far or how well. How can you say you've been here 10 years, 15 years? That is a calling. We have to all wake up. Please, you take this serious, I'll take you serious. You don't take it serious, I'm not going to take it serious. That's just it.
That's just how it is.
Can I ask you, what does Oshun mean to you?
It's my mother. Is the most benevolent mother of the easy flowing river. I mean, the river that don't look back. In the way that it's just forward movement. I mean, you just really have to love Oshun. You just have to, embrace everything Oshun. That's her mother. She's the one that we put first. Yoruba say if someone is pounding yam and they didn't put Oshun first, the pounded yam is gonna come out lump. Right. So even our ancestors, they understand that whatever we do, we need to put Oshun first. And it's not just Oshun. You have to understand, like, water is life.
Water is life.
It's been here. It has memory.
I say.
So it was just like it's restorative. It's healing. We cannot live without water. So how can you say Oshun Bawo? It's just like, what about Oshun? Just brush it aside. No, she should be celebrated. She's worthy to be celebrated. Because not only did she happens to be the only female deity that descend with the Irumale, she's also the only woman out of the old history of old Ifa that I've written, that something is written about them in a way that they stand equally with the other deity, with the men. You know,
That's true.
hardly do you read about any other female deity in particular, you know, that is exonerated to the status like, you know, Rumila or Shango and stuff like that. She did that.
Benny.
And you know, for me, being an Omo Oshun in itself, because my dad, his mom, my grandma, went to Oshun River to ask to be blessed with a child
With the child.
because she is suffering from Abiku, and then she had my dad.
Right.
So my dad Oshun name is Oshunda Agbono, and Agbo is the medicinal herb
Agbo
that you
Oshun.
drink.
Water.
So they said Oshun, you know, throw away the herb. So it gives you children. You know, it gives you children. It takes away all of those other medicine that you're using, and then he answered your prayer. So you know, it's in the blood. You know, so you know we have it as a special place, and Oshun has blessed Oshogbo so much.
I say.
And I'm proud to come from Oshogbo because
say.
you know. That's all we have. You know, I can tell you that, you know, without Oshun, Oshogbo is nothing. You know, Oshogbo is nothing. You know, it's one, you know, UNESCO is one of the World Heritage Sites, not because of anything, but because of Oshun.
So I want to ask this, because I saw something this morning, and I was like, wow. And I told him, I said, dang. It was on Facebook, and I said, she was a beautiful woman, and she was looking in the mirror. And she said, I'm Oshun. And you remember I said, why every pretty woman got to think they're Oshun? Like, because they're...
Everybody want to be Oshun.
I mean,
like, you could be Iyemisi.
Yes,
you could be Oya. You could be Ogun.
Oba.
Like, you know, Oba. Like, why...
I think the same reason why everybody
like,
want to
I'm
be
cute.
Babalawo. The same reason why everyone want to be Oshun.
Right.
Because Orumila
Oluwo.
has done the PR. They have a good PR team.
Right.
Oshun also has a
Good
good PR team.
People literally, like, sometimes women, they will get so disappointed when they
find out,
that Oshun
because
is
it's
not
the
their
popular.
vein
People
of
want to
research.
go with the
Yeah.
popular.
They are heartbroken. They have
I
convinced
know I'm
themselves.
cute.
And I tell
And I'm
you,
Oshun.
real life experience
And I'm like,
now.
no.
Despite the fact that I share blood ties with Oshun from my dad, my mom, you know, our maternal ancestry, they have Oshun priestess there. But I'm a child of Obatala. That's the Orisha that I come to ward. My Obatala name is Orisha Bukola, given to me at birth. From the old Ifa, that the divination that fell for me, right? So, and you know, when I did my initiation into Oshun, it was working for me. I mean, everything was flowing. Like I was just like, oh, she, like I can feel it.
I say.
And all of a sudden, I had my divination done. And Obatala was just like side eye. And if I said, you are a child of Obatala, what are you doing with a brass bangles? And since then, I removed all my. I had to take them off, you know, and just go mellow with my Baba Obatala. You know, so it's not a matter of what is popular.
No,
that doesn't mean you are less.
It doesn't mean you are less.
It is what if I say,
you
know, I'm a child of Obatala. I can, you know, every day, true in, true out, you know, but you know. I'm initiated into Oshun. I respect Oshun priestess and priests and stuff like that, but that is not the end of the world if you're not a child of Oshun. And not every woman is a child of Oshun.
Right.
So that needs to be, and then the whole looking into the mirror thing, like, if I live in the water, why do I need a mirror? You know, I can see my reflection in the water, in the river. So, I mean, so you
the
just
river
like,
becomes the mirror.
and you know, it's just like the old thing about beauty, the standard that has been set. Like us in Africa, we don't worry about outward beauty. And then you can tell that from the artwork that they do, that they, you know, to, you know, depict the Orisha. Some have the biggest nose and the biggest lips you can see, because it's not really about the outside beauty. And then we have to remember that we don't really have mirror to see our own reflection, except from the surface of the water. So we're not so focused about
how we
the
surgeries,
we look, and stuff like that. So it's just distraction.
It's a distraction. The skin bleaching. And
that's an epidemic.
Why do you want to bleach your skin?
It's the same colonial stuff.
Yeah, y'all trying to be white, and the white people trying to be black. They tanning. They steady tanning all day.
They got all kind of cream out there.
Yeah, trying to get dark.
Oh my God! I mean, it's so funny. It's so funny. Like my daughter just started understanding race, and then my nephew, he's light skinned, and then she went to her aunt and just like, do you know your baby is white?
Wow. Ouch.
Because she doesn't understand. She doesn't understand. So I had to explain to her, like, even though we are black, we all different shades. Different shades too. You might be light skinned, but it's still
all the way to albino.
And then she will show you and say, I'm white too. Look at white.
Oh,
so all the way to a bed, so we just have to, those are just distractions. And those are the distractions that we just need to, we can let it down, how can you be pretty and have ugly character and then say you're a child of God?
Thank you.
No.
This is what I'm saying.
I mean, we're in history where Oshun is associated with promiscuity. You know, it's not
sexiness.
It's sexiness and stuff like that. That's just a Western thing that we're bringing into the image.
What would you like people to know more about Oshun other than that?
I mean, we cannot let that overshadow the importance that it's really about the character. And it's about the balance for me.
Right.
And it's just really about doing what you need to do to get what you want. Because there is only few people in history where one person went against 15 people and end up on top.
Right.
And those are the lessons that we need to draw, the strength that we need to draw from Oshun to stand your ground. It's just about knowing, because she understands her value. She understands what she brings to the table. She owns her power. You don't own your power, but then you wonder why you're not placed in the right place.
And you know what else Oshun didn't do? Oshun didn't go cuss them out either. She went to a Lodumare.
That is the thing, though.
You know what I'm saying? She didn't go cuss the man out.
Yeah.
She didn't do that. She said, I'm going to go show you. I'm going to go to your superior. And I'm going to chill out over here and be quiet in my stately beauty. And I'm going to make you come to me. And Oshun's her wisdom, like with the divination with Aaron Dean Lobun, when Arumala would be out traveling, her spirituality, there's so much more to, and Oshun is a warrior.
Empowering, she's such a woman of valor, and then that's one of the things that the strength that women need is understanding your power, holding your power. It's not being destructive with your power. Because a lot of people, a lot of women in particular, they understand their
we need you to repeat that.
Don't be destructive.
One more time.
Don't be destructive with your power. Don't be destructive with your ashe. You know who you are. We know who you are. We honor you. We respect you. But it's really about bringing balance and healing into this world. It's not really about your ego. You think you're deserving. That's why you have this power. No, you have it for the work that needs to be done
to help other people, including yourself.
So if you're using it in the wrong way, it's bringing about a case of chaos. It's just really that's the reason why men don't want women in their space. And that's honest. That is honest. Honest. Some people, they have abused their womanhood. And I'm a woman, I can say it, I'm team woman anytime, any day.
Truth,
but this is just the truth. Some people have abused the position of womanhood, they've weaponized it and use it against men. And this is a good thing that
and
we have.
Other sisters.
And their other sisters. It's a good thing that we have this conversation, because we look at the life of women now. We talk about why so many women are single. why nobody, wants to commit into a relationship, why nobody want to be committed to a marriage. And it's just a matter. So I was having this conversation with one of my god sister in Tallahassee, and I said, and I told her that we need to have a healing conference. And that, like I said, I'm all about ministry, speaking life into people. And I said, we need our women to come. If you have a man, bring a man. If you have a son, bring your son. And I see that the way the men are, there's some life that the men have now, they don't have that desirable lifestyle. For women to say, okay, I want to be tied to this person. So, and then how did that happen? It happens being you promising someone and failing your promises. And then the women, they understand their power. They use their power against you. And now your life turned upside down. And then you continue to procreate without healing. And then you continue to pass down.
Speak the truth.
You pass down.
I say.
That cause in your DNA through your bloodline.
Through your bloodline.
And we see it every day.
And that is what it continues. And then it continues. The father wasn't home. He's out. You get back to his son. The father wasn't home. And then even just in the women too, the cycle continues to repeat itself. So somebody has to, people talk about generational curse. It is true.
It's true.
It is true. It is something that can be inherited from, from the DNA.
And this is what I tell people all the time, right? A lot of times people come to us and they're probably new to the culture, and they'll usually be the black sheep of the family. They're the only one that really deals with this. Nobody else understands. But it's always, Ifa will always, or the ancestors, or whoever, seems like they'll always pick one person from the family to come into this. And really, it's not about just that one person. It's about healing. They are the one that's been chosen to heal those family generational curses through the spiritual work that they're doing on behalf of the whole family. For the ancestors and the unborn children and everybody that's alive. So that's how big the responsibility is. You don't have to be a priest or a priestess to do that. You're just coming home and then maybe you kind of, you're a devotee. Let's say you're Aboriginal, you're a devotee. Somebody's coming through that. If you're teaching this to your kids at some point, it's going to be reestablished. Maybe one of your kids is going to be a Babalawo or a full-fledged priestess or priest, right?
It is important because, in dealing with that situation, so we recommend, and I was telling her that, okay, how about we have a conference? We're not teaching Orisha stuff like people want to, but it's going to be about healing. Bring your husband, bring your brother, bring your son. Pray for them.
I say.
The same mouth that you've used to curse them, that you've cursed the generation for them. Pray for them. Heal them. Let's have 3-day fasting, 4-day fasting, 7-day fasting before we come down. Let's speak like, okay, now you said you bringing into the word girls. You want them to have a future husband or, whatever relationship they decide to pursue. But at the same time, we have to heal their husband, father now. So that it does not affect them. And the same thing needs to happen with the men too. If we don't do this exchange of healing, like, heal yourself. Watch the way you are. With your spouse or your girlfriend or your partner or anything. So let's break this cycle of, breaking each other.
Breaking each other. It's like if you got 5 apples in a bag and one of them is rotten, or is spoiled or whatever, it spoils the other one. It's not the other way around. The good apples don't. It's like, so you got to cure everything. Like you said, everybody has to heal.
It needs to be both ways because, in having that dialogue, we have to why is it the women's responsibility to heal the people that break them? But at the same time, if you want that pain, that hurt to stop, you have to do that. Not for yourself, but for the future, for the future generation. Because I knew it in my heart that we women, we are powerful, and we have that healing power to bring the balance and restoration to heal the life of our men, our father, our husband, our brother. You know, we have that power to do it. It's within our reach.
Because you all gave birth to everybody. So if you birthed it, you can fix it.
Of course. You know, you cannot destroy the things that you make. And that is why Isheshe is so superior, because a lot of people want to attack us from left and right. And then, but my parents were just like, those are children that are left. You cannot destroy your children. You know, no matter which way they go in life, they are still your children. So that's the thing that we women need to always put into consideration when we, you know, get into that, when we allow people to get us, you know, to that point where you wanted to, you know, no curse word, no nothing. Don't, you know, don't use your power, you know, in a destructive, you know, in a destructive manner.
Yeah, this conversation has been so
powerful,
enlightening, and powerful. We really want to appreciate you for being here, for everything that you do, and for your lineage and your bloodline that you come from. We want to thank your parents, all your ancestors. I know that you make your family proud. We want to end on this note. We want to end on you just saying a quick word to our sisters and all the women that are watching right now. What do you want to say to them before we leave?
I just want to say that we hold that power within us that creates life. You know, when Orunmila discovered the secret of the world, he didn't find it between the legs of a man. He found it between the legs in the nakedness of a woman. So that should tell you that we know our place, we know our power. We own it. And it's the serving. It doesn't matter the way the society is structured today. You know, the world needs women. We need the feminine energy to balance things out. And then we need women who, like, you know, I don't want to trade being a woman for anything. I cannot be bitter enough because of relationship and, you know, turn against men and say, you know, I don't need no man, or I want to, you know, have a world where there's no man in it, there's no balance in it. So we just need to
especially
find a way.
When you got kids.
Yeah, we just need to find a way to work with our male counterpart, and then we need to understand that irrespective of how the society is structured, you are powerful.
Iya, we thank you. Well, this was one for the books. Thank you, Iya,
one for the archive,
for coming.
Yes.
You are tuned in to the greatest podcast
on the planet.
I am Ifayemisi Ray.
And I am Ifayemisi.
And this is
Let's Talk IFA.
Odabo signing out. Until next time, peace and blessings, everybody. Ashe.
Ashe.